Hey everybody, this is Leah Cook with Confident Companions, and I want to talk to you guys about something that has really been bothering me. I didn't say anything about it yesterday because I just wanted to give myself a day, because loose dogs running up to people, attacking people, all that kind of, or just running up and growling or creeping up and making low vocalizations, like anything like that is such a hot topic for me because I have been attacked many times. And when I say attacked, I'm not talking about a dog just ran up to me and growled. Okay, and I don't say that to sound like I'm belittling getting into what I call like a mob situation with another dog, because that's scary too. If somebody just ran up to you and they didn't actually stab you, but they still mobbed you, like that's terrifying. Okay, so anyway, I tried to give myself a day to just let it sink in so that I wasn't so hot when I got on here on Facebook. But somebody who attended one of the best practices with loose dog seminars that I gave reached out to me, and she can't even hike with her children not panicking and screaming and crying, and they're not even 10. Like, both of her children aren't even 10 years old yet, and because this family, they're an active family, they spend quality time together, and they like being outside. They don't even have a dog. Like, she reached out and watched all these seminars and stuff that I was giving because she was just trying to protect her kids. So even if you don't have kids, like, I know that the majority of my clients that I'm speaking to right now, you're very empathetic people. You are kind people. So I'm not really talking to you. I'm really hoping that this video will reach somebody out in Facebook land that, you know, they have a dog that's friendly or whatever, and it's not trained, and they're so selfish that they think that because their dog is friendly that other people should be okay with their choices, even though it impacts them. Like, we need to get some empathy for other people. We need to be responsible dog owners, and we need to train our dogs. Like, I don't have an issue with dogs being loose. As a matter of fact, I think aside from teaching your dog that you understand them and that you can communicate with them, and that by communicating with you, they can actually make things that they want happen, I think that's a beautiful thing. And aside from that, I think off-leash freedom and the ability to just move normally and not be attached to a 6-foot leash from your body for the rest of their life is the best gift that you can give them, aside from knowing that they aren't alone out here in the world. So I don't have an issue with loose dogs. My dogs are not on a leash the majority of the time, all of them, and they're very well trained. Okay, if I'm in a public space, and I mean I am like hiking with somebody who's just waiting for something to go down. Okay, I am listening. I stop. I put my dogs in a down. I just listen. I clap my hands. I do anything I can to try to see if I hear any noise. If I hear anything, my dogs immediately come to me. They're put on leashes. I don't even wait until the other person notices me, and then I have to call my dogs back and all that kind of stuff. I don't even get there. Okay, and if there's cars in the parking lot, my dogs are just on leashes, just out of respect for other people. First of all, don't ever think you're alone on a hiking trail. Okay, most people, they go through the middle of the week and all that kind of stuff because they think everybody else is at work, right? Okay, no. There are a lot of other people who think just like you, especially people with aggressive dogs. You know, when they go hiking, the middle of the week, because they think everybody else, you know, is at work. Okay, and they can be alone and have the hiking trail, you know, all to themselves with their dog reactive dog or their child reactive dog or whatever it is. And then, what do you know? A child comes around a corner and their reactive or aggressive dog is loose and doesn't have the training that's required because they think they're alone and they're not going to run into anything. Guys, we got to do something about this. Like, I can't accomplish that on my own. I don't know what we need to do as a community of responsible dog owners. I don't know, but we need to figure something out. I don't know if we need to just go on Saturdays as a group and we just have a great time hiking with our dogs, and we just show people that, yes, you can be responsible with your animals and still have a great time and not scare people. But anyway, back to my story. This woman, okay, has children who panic and scream and cry because of the experiences that they've had because of other people. Like, I just can't. I don't know what else to say to people other than, like, these children have been traumatized already. They're not even 10. Okay, that doesn't just go away. You know, I mean, you're talking about the rest of these children's lives. They're going to be, you know, waiting around every corner for some aggressive dog to come running around the corner. That's the rest of their lives. Like, you don't really, a lot of people don't really think about how far the ripples go with one of their actions. Single event learning, like, that's a real thing. Like, even if your dog is friendly and it runs up to a child or another dog, you don't get to decide whether or not that was scary. Okay, the other dog who wasn't a willing participant, or that child who wasn't a willing participant, or that 80-year-old or that 60-year-old who was trying to enjoy hiking because they're still active and your dog knocked them down, you don't get to decide. They do, because you're the one who put them in a situation that they didn't give consent to. Like, people need to wake up. So anyway, my friend and I are actually getting together this Friday with this lady and her 2 small children. And we're going to explain what systematic desensitization is. And we're going to do our best to speak with these children and really understand what they're going through and see if we can help them in some little way. But I hope, again, that if you're out there in Facebook land and you have a friendly dog and you think that it's okay for your dog to run up to other people or somebody riding a horse or whatever it is because you know your dog, we have to do better than that. Like, this is how dogs lose privileges. This is how they don't get to go to parks. This is how we have leash laws and everything else, because people don't train and control their animals. Okay? Anyway, you know, I hope that we can figure out something as a community. And the thought of us going on hikes just as friends, that has been crossing my mind several times, because I got to tell you guys, you know, a couple years ago, I just quit hiking myself, because it's like every time I go out on my own, I get attacked by a dog. And again, I'm not talking about just getting growled at. Okay, the last time I went on a hike was in Pisgah National Forest, and we actually were on a Jeep trail. And anyway, we got out with Mina and Graffiti, and we were hiking and just doing our little thing, and we were on the way back to the trailhead with the Jeep, and Evan saw something at the Jeep, and it was so we immediately downed our dogs. We didn't want any kind of movement to draw attention to us because the animal hadn't noticed us yet. So immediately down, shh, quiet. Okay, well, anyway, we didn't know what it was, but because I know how to read body language really quickly, I told Evan to stay with the dogs, and I went ahead so that I could assess the situation. And if you've ever taken one of my best practices for loose dogs things or seminars, you understand that what you are trying to assess in those situations isn't whether or not the dog is friendly. You are trying to assess the presence or absence of a threat, and then you need to know how to respond to keep yourself and your dog safe. So anyway, I'm walking up to the Jeep, and I thought it was like a cougar or something. I mean, it was massive. It was tan. The fur was stuck to its skin. Had a I thought it was a long tail, but anyway, it ended up being like a bull mastiff type dog. And I'll post a picture of that dog in the comments when I get done with this video, because I'm still not a master of Facebook Live, and if I touch something, I'm scared I'll just ruin it. So anyway, I thought it was a puma, but then I realized it was a dog. And as soon as that dog noticed me, it charged me. I put frontal pressure, and me and that dog had a standoff for about 3 minutes. I mean, it was scuffing up the dirt, snarling at me, and I was ready to drop it. Okay? I don't play that game. I'm not going to the hospital again because of a dog. Its owners weren't even in sight. Okay? It's just this huge, massive, mastiff type dog that had broken off a leash. Like it had been on a tie out or something, and it only had a little bit of that tie out dangling on its neck. So the owners were nowhere. I'm just out here with this massive dog, at least 130 pounds, snarling at me and kicking up the dirt, making direct eye contact. Well, finally, after 3 minutes, or maybe a little bit less, but it was a long time. Anyway, it started to trot off, and then it would stop, and it would slowly look back at me and huff its breath, and then confidently trot off just a few more steps, and then it would turn back around and do the same thing, and finally it left. As soon as it got out of sight, I opened the door, called my dogs, got them in the Jeep, and Anyway, we had to go. It makes my hand, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it makes my hand shake just talking about this. Anyway, we got back in the Jeep and we were leaving, and we went by this cart that was covered in towels and stuff like that, and the dog ran out from, and this is like a 2-minute Jeep ride down a trail. Like, that's how long it took us to get to this vehicle where that dog had made its way back to. And anyway, it came out from under the car and was barking and stuff, and it just saw me and Evan, and it was just barking, but then it saw my dog in the car. She was standing up on the console, and it launched itself up into the window. Okay, I had scratch marks all over my Jeep and everything. Evan pushed it off of the Jeep, which is one of the most dangerous things you can do in that moment. If you give tactile stimulation to a dog like that, like, that's a really great way to get yourself bitten. But he's not me. He's not a dog trainer. He's just a regular person. He wanted to get the dog off the car, but thank God it didn't bite him. Well, anyway, he pushed it off, and the dog comes back, and the owner is high as a kite, and she gets out of the van, and she grabs the dog by the collar, and as she's pulling this dog off the collar, it's still going like all these crazy noises, and she's like, he's not vicious. I kid you not. That's what this lady said as she's dragging this dog off of my car. Like, people are delusional. Anyway, we went to the ranger station, filed a police report, took care of that, because I knew, like, if something isn't done about this, like, if somebody's riding their bike in Pisgah National Forest and their dog is just biking with them and everything, and this dog comes out from under that van, that dog is most likely dead. Anyway, it was just a bad situation, but that's actually the last time I went hiking with my dogs. And that was around Christmas time. And I've just almost completely given up on it, because it's like every time I go out, somebody doesn't have their dog. If your dog isn't trained, keep them on a leash. Like, I really don't understand how hard that is. Or just train your dog. Like, if you really enjoy having your dog, experience that kind of freedom and stuff like that, train your dog. Like, it's really not that hard. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be making videos. I don't know if I'll have time today before work, but I really wanted to get a new Come and Call video out. But anyway, I'm going to try my best to provide as much material and training and community projects and community outreach as possible so that we have a safe community. Like, we live in one of the most beautiful places in South Carolina. I mean, look at Lake Kiowee and Jocassee and all these beautiful places, and there's so many people who don't even go because they can't enjoy it, because they don't know what dog around what corner is going to attack them. It's just so disappointing, and so anyway, I just wanted you guys to know that I hear you and I care, and I hope that if you're one of those people who hasn't had this conversation with anybody yet, that you were able to hear what I'm saying and you do the responsible thing and train your dog. But anyway, I hope none of you ever have to experience the things that several of my clients have had to experience. And that I have had to experience myself, so that you just don't have that muddying up your brain and taking the enjoyment out of life and being able to just go for a walk with your dog. Okay? Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, and thank you for joining me for this talk. And if you guys have any questions, or if you haven't been able to attend one of my Best Practices with Loose Dogs seminars, let me know. I'm going to try to record that thing next time and make it available on YouTube so that y'all can just spread it to the masses, because we need people to have the skills that they need to keep themselves, their children, and their dogs safe. Because we can't control other people's actions. All we can do is control what we do. But anyway, if you guys have any ideas, people that I can reach out to, like if you know somebody who's got some oomph behind, their position at a park, or Greenville County or Spartanburg County, animal control, or whatever, if you know somebody that I can reach out to and try to give some type of some kind of educational resource to people, let me know. I'm all ears. I want to do everything I can to make Greenville and Spartanburg, or just the upstate in general, a really safe place so that we can enjoy this beautiful place with our animals and our families. Okay, well, have a good day, guys. Let me see if I can turn this thing off.